Miz and Morrison walked up and asked where Adam Pearce was. Sonya said someone pulled some strings and got him suspended for a week. Miz said pulling strings to get what you want is just a nasty thing to do. Morrison made a terrible joke about GameStop stock, and Sonya decided it was a good time to leave. Big E tried to leave too, but Morrison and Miz mocked him. A brawl ensued, and Big E got the better of both of them. Okay, if I would have told... See, look at the conversation they were having, like these lines that they're delivering. It's like, how did this end up in a brawl?
This meant nothing.
Everybody's being joking, goofy, right. And then they started fighting out of all this. Like, come on, they should have ended up laughing at each other.
Because Miz started to bury him, and then he got mad, and then he started beating up both of them, and then all these refs and assorted goofs came in and broke it up. This segment meant absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Bro, everything should mean something. I mean, I don't know.
So Tamina's wrestling Natalya for a spot on for the number 30 spot. Why did they do that? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Well, that's kind of weird because they
announcing
both went to the Royal
30th
Rumble.
spot.
Yeah, but they both were in it.
Yeah, but they're announcing who gets the number 30 spot before the match even starts. Right. Like, bro, that's one of the things is we never announced the 30s because it's of course it is. You took out one of the pops of the whole sell.
Yeah, well,
and one of your selling points.
Yeah, well, they also gave out who was going to be number 1 and 2 also. So there wasn't, the beginning and the end, they spoiled.
Right. So then Sasha encountered Kalisto backstage and gave him a hug. Reginald walked up and presented her a bottle of wine.
I got to throw this out there, bro. The guy's still wearing that goofy hat. Remember that?
Didn't know what type of hat it was, and he's still wearing it?
Right, he's wearing that. He's shorter than her, and he's just acting so goofy. I think he's just embraced his role and said, kind of like Ron Killings and other guys, like Miz and Morrison. Like, this is what they want me to do. It. This is what I'm going to do.
Reginald walked up, gave her the wine, said she should pair it with her losing her championship. That's actually a funny line, even though it's, Sasha asked him if he freelanced because he should find Carmella a wine for when she has a broken jaw. She then told Reginald that he could find a wine for himself because he looked like he could use a drink.
Okay, let me just say
bro, this is a go home for a pay-per-view, right?
This
and like
terrible.
All these conversations are not like the tone of the show isn't like a combat sport.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is a wrestling show where people are fighting and feuding, or is it,
Let me just say 3 things about this. A nothing segment, just like the segment before, didn't do anything. She still comes off as a heel, Sasha. And this guy, I don't know if he's French or not, but that's the worst French accent I've ever heard.
I already lost my bet. Had the under Newcastle Crystal Palace. It's already 2-1, 20 minutes in. So then we have this is kind of weird. So the Sami Zayn Shinsuke backstage thing was funny because Sami's just being
okay. So this is what here's something. See, unlike the other segments, this meant something. Sami's trying to convince Nakamura to help him get his title back and watch his back. He's trying to work him. He's complaining. It's going somewhere. It's a continuation of this guy that complains about everything and is trying to work people into helping him. Like, this accomplished something. It furthered. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So then we do the Owens and Roman sit down. I'm just going to read the whole thing and comment on it.
Right.
They had a split-screen conversation. Owens said as far as he's concerned, he's already beaten Roman's reigns twice, and he would get up as many times as it took to become the champion again. Heyman piped up and said Owens should not talk about the tribal chief or his family that way. He should speak of him with the utmost respect. Owens asked Reigns if he was going to let Heyman recycle material when talking about him. Reigns asked Owens about his father. He said he's a great man. He should be careful about where he's going. Reigns asked if he was a smart man. Owens answered yes. He then asked Owens why he wasn't smart enough to understand that he's not in his league. He said he's not a king, a knight, or a bishop. He's a pawn that doesn't know his place. Reigns said everything revolves around him, and Owens needs to understand that. If Owens is that big of a fool, then his father is a fool, and his grandfather is a fool. Owens said he saw where Owens was going with this after he saw what he said about his grandfathers and how much they meant to him. Reigns then continued that he would meet his grandfathers again one day, and they would tell him what a disgrace he was for not acknowledging him as a tribal chief. Owens replied that his grandfathers would only want him to recognize him for what he is, and that's an insecure jackass. He said Roman shows up every week and plays a community theater version of a mafia boss tough guy, but that's not who he is. Owens got fired up and said he would expose Roman for what he really was and show his entire family there was something they could be proud of. After the Rumble, they would still be proud of him, except now he'd be the Universal Champion. Reigns cut off his camera partway through the Owens tirade, and Owens ripped off his microphone and left when he was done. This was actually pretty good.
And I like at the end when Roman shut him off, and then he got mad and ripped off his mic and left. You know, they do things that you don't normally see, and they make sense, and they look logical. And great emotion by KO at the end when he started to scream.
So Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, basic back and forth. Sami Zayn walked out during the match with his documentary crew. That's pretty funny that he brings those guys out there.
Right. And
Bryan looked at him and Styles knocked him down off the turnbuckles. Styles and threw Bryan into the ring steps on the outside. Cesaro was doing commentary on this too.
Bro, I love Cesaro, but he has zero mic skills. He was on commentary, and he was not good.
Bro, Bro,
he's talking normal. He's talking normal like you and me are.
Right,
and he sounds like he's reading a script. No, but he's reading a script. He's not good at all.
No, bro, let me tell you something. This is what Vince Russo said, okay? Is that Vince McMahon wanted Stone Cold Steve Austin not to talk. Okay, well, he was being managed by who?
DiBiase.
What's his name? DiBiase. He wanted DiBiase doing all the talking, right? Steve Austin, in an attempt to grab that brass ring, would constantly go to Russo and say, "Hey man, can you got anything for me? I need to, So there was a match. I think maybe Savio Vega was in a match or something, and Russo said, "Hey, I got a spot for you here. We can put you in on commentary." Okay, so Stone Cold Steve Austin, after begging for a chance to show that he's entertaining, okay, got a spot on a show to get some mic time, which they weren't giving him during commentary. Okay, what did he do?
He did.
He made that famous 316 line.
No, he talked about he was excellent.
Yeah, and
to the point that it stole. Everybody's like, "Wow, did you hear Steve Austin on comment?" So he was being himself out there, but over the top.
Yeah.
Bro, Cesaro's got this mic time. Dude, you sound like you don't even want to be out there. That's what he sounds like. He literally sounds like he doesn't want to be. He's not. He doesn't say anything entertaining, anything funny, anything interesting. It's just like basic. Here was the commentary. It was like you had a very laid back master of the obvious sitting there with calling the match. Then that's what he would do. Like he'd say stuff like, "Oh, that's a good." Just it was very boring, right? So the next thing what you call it? Biggie. Well, Biggie comes out during this. Okay, and him and Sammy starts fighting. They throw him into Cesaro.
Okay,
boom,
this is what was weird. Let me just say this. This is very weird to me. So Sammy's out there with a sign that says Big E's not my champion, right? Amongst other ones, which I think is funny. Then for some reason, after 10 minutes of the match.
12 minutes and 37 seconds.
Okay, no, because the match wasn't over. Like 10 minutes of the match had gone by. Explain this to me, Disco, if you can. They put Big E's entrance music on, and he's also wearing a ring jacket, okay?
Right.
He comes out, and he's wearing the belt. Takes off the belt, takes off the ring jacket, clothesline Sammy, throws him into Cesaro, right? And then everybody gets into the ring one by one, and it turns into the Kevin Nash Raven special, into a 6-man.
And then it turns into a 6-man. They wrestle. Bro, this is
Nakamura came out with entrance music. But why was Big E? This is my question. Why was Big E coming 2 minutes before the match was over with entrance music?
And his ring gear on.
And his ring gear on.
And then he ended up wrestling in a match. It was like the details on this just exposed that this was just a work because we already had the match booked for next. And we're just going to. Bro, that's what I said. They booked all this stuff backwards. They booked the matches, and then they had to come up with angles to figure out why they're having the matches. And, bro, this was a go-home match for the pay-per-view.
Let me tell you something that I popped for. I popped when Graves goes, when, what's this guy's name? When Big E attacked Sammy, and Graves goes, that was uncalled for. He was protesting peacefully.
Yeah, right, yeah. The peaceful, right, that's funny. All right, so then, as if this segment is as meaningless as it could possibly be, okay?
Right,
because you're just having a bunch of guys that are going to be in the wrestling each other
for another whole cluster.
And then so the Miz and Morrison come out and everything, and now they're in the match.
Right.
And now it's 5-on-4. Now it's Otis and Nakamura. So now it's a 10-man tag.
Right.
Okay. And they just start fighting, and at the end, and then Braun Strowman comes out, and then it's like he clears the this.
He looked incredible, bro, but he doesn't do it for me anymore.
Well, first of all, if you've got his Instagram, if you follow him on Instagram, he's been looking incredible for a while now. He's doing a lot of muscle pics and everything.
No more bunny
fantastic.
suits. No more bunny
Bro, he's got abs. He's in great shape.
Are the nipple rings still in place?
Yeah.
Nothing on the bunny suits.
Yeah.
No more?
But that was no more.
So that was SmackDown. I wasn't overly impressed after a lot of strong shows. I'll give them a pass because they've given me a lot of good shows.
Yeah.
For being a go-home show, this is not good.
Okay, but you're right. But it's two of our the two things that we liked the best on this show were not really damaged that much. Sami Zayn was still in character, did some good stuff, and Roman's stuff with Owens was great. So that's basically been the gist of the show.
It almost makes me feel like they have a lot of creative input where they're like, no, we're not going to do this. You know what I'm saying?